Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're doing something really cool. We are going to completely decode the incredible structural blueprint of your own body. We'll be taking a tour through the microscopic architecture that makes you, well, you.
Here's how we're breaking it all down today. First, we'll look at the blueprint of tissues. Then, epithelial boundaries, connective frameworks, muscular engines, and finally, the nervous system's command network.
All right, let's jump right into part one, the blueprint of tissues, laying the foundation. So, what actually is a tissue? Well, at its core, it's basically a dedicated team of cells. And whether they look exactly identical or kind of different, they all originate from the exact same embryonic layer. We're talking about the ectoderm, mesoderm, or endoderm, which are really just the primary cell layers formed when you were a tiny embryo. Basically, they're born together to work together.
It's pretty amazing how animal tissues neatly divide into two main branches. On one side, you have simple tissues, which are formed of the exact same type of cells, like your epithelial tissue. On the flip side, complex tissues are built from a whole variety of different cells working in tandem, and that includes our connective, muscular, and nervous tissues. Moving right along to section 2, epithelial tissues, or the body's boundaries.
Think of this like the siding, the roofing, and the paint of our bodily house. This breakdown shows us a tale of two boundaries. Some barriers only need a single, simple layer of cells. That's your simple epithelium. But in places where your body takes a real beating, like your skin, your mouth, or your esophagus, it relies on compound or stratified epithelium. It uses two or more tough layers stacked together to give you that heavy-duty protection.
Now, the actual shape of these simple cells dictates exactly what they do. It's literally form-matching function. You've got squamous cells, which are flat and tile-like, making them perfect for diffusion in places like your lungs or blood vessels. Then there are cuboidal cells, shaped like little cubes, which are specialized for secretion and absorption in your glands. And finally, columnar cells, shaped like tall pillars, handling all the heavy absorption in your intestines and stomach.
But wait, it gets better. We also have these highly specialized, modified versions of these tissues. For instance, ciliated epithelium features these tiny hair-like projections called cilia. They are specifically designed to sweep and move particles through your bronchioles or fallopian tubes. Meanwhile, glandular modifications take those cuboidal or columnar cells we just talked about and turn them into highly specialized biological factories for both endocrine and exocrine secretion.
Okay, section 3, connective tissue. This is the living framework.
So we've got our boundaries, right? Now we need the framework and the plumbing. The absolute most crucial thing to understand here is that all these complex connective tissues, whether they're literally holding you upright or flowing rapidly through your veins, share one common foundational base called a matrix. And from this matrix, they branch out into three distinct types: proper, supporting, and fluid.
And this shared matrix, it takes on vastly different forms depending on what your body needs. In our supporting tissues, it combines with a protein called ausin, plus a bunch of calcium and phosphorus to create the hard, rigid concrete of our bones. In cartilage, it mixes with chondrin for flexibility. But check out the fluid connective tissues. Here, the matrix is literally a flowing liquid plasma carrying red and white blood cells plus platelets right through your cardiovascular plumbing and lymphatic system.
Then we have what's called proper connective tissue, which fills the spaces in between. And this includes a really fascinating cast of characters. You've got areolar tissue filling empty spaces and mast cells releasing histamine for your immune defense. You have macrophages acting as the ultimate microscopic cleanup crew to digest cellular debris and foreign bacteria through phagocytosis, which is essentially just cell eating. Oh, and don't forget fibroblasts, quietly producing the collagen and elastin fibers that keep your skin structurally sound and stretchy.
Now here's a quick architectural question for you regarding our framework. We have all these heavy supporting bone beams, but how do we actually tie them together so they don't just, collapse? The answer is fibrous connective tissue. Think of ligaments as your body's biological zip ties. They connect bone to bone, which is super easy to remember as B to B. Tendons, on the other hand, firmly anchor those bones to our next tissue type, the muscles, so B to M.
Actually, before we leave the plumbing and framework section entirely, here's a mind-blowing fact. Your proper connective tissue contains heparin. This is a vital anticoagulant that ensures your blood flows freely and safely through your entire system without clotting up. It is quite literally a built-in maintenance mechanism for your plumbing. All right, on to Section 4, Muscular Tissue, the engines of movement.
Welcome to the engine room. Every single muscular engine in your body relies on this tiny base unit of contraction called the sarcomere. Inside this sarcomere, specialized contractile proteins named actin and myosin physically pull against each other to generate literally all of your bodily movement.
We've actually got 3 specific types of engines running the show here. First are voluntary muscles, like your biceps, which are cylindrical and uniquely multinucleated, meaning they have multiple nuclei in each cell. Second are involuntary muscles, which are spindle-shaped and uninucleated, and they automatically run things like your diaphragm and stomach without you even thinking about it. And finally, the highly specialized cardiac muscles, forming the myocardium of your heart, tirelessly pumping your blood using unnucleated cylindrical cells.
I absolutely love this kind of biological trivia. Did you know your gluteus is technically the largest muscle you have? On the flip side, the tiny stapedius, tucked way away inside your ear, is the absolute smallest. And if you're wondering about length, well, the sartorius muscle stretching down your thigh takes the prize for being the longest muscle in your entire body.
Finally, Section 5, Nervous Tissue, the command network.
Look, a building this incredibly complex, with all these moving parts and active plumbing, needs some top-tier electrical wiring to control absolutely everything. Located centrally in your brain and spinal cord and sprawling outward through the peripheral nervous system, or PNS, this complex tissue forms the master command network. It securely connects the central servers to every single remote sensor in the house.
This master network relies on 2 main teams. First, your neurons, the nerve cells, do the heavy lifting of receiving external stimuli from the environment and rapidly firing off nerve impulses. But they do not work alone. Neuroglial cells act as their protective bodyguards, shielding the neurons so the network can seamlessly coordinate the activities of all those muscles and glands we talked about earlier.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this thought. We rarely, if ever, think about our bodies on this fundamental level. But without this perfectly categorized microscopic architectural blueprint, these boundaries, the frameworks, the engines, and the wires all seamlessly working together every single second, how would we move, feel, or even exist? It's definitely something to think about the next time you take a simple breath or flex a muscle. Keep learning, and I'll catch you on the next one.